mission to help families have some fun with maths, and with St David's Day coming up and the daffodils coming out, I thought I'd show you some ideas how you can make some daffodils, paper daffodils, and think about doing some counting and maybe some times tables. Oh, and the special triangle in there too. So if you can have a look either at a photo or a real daffodil together and talk about what you can see. When I looked at it, I could see these 6 petals, and I could see that they were in 2 sets of 3. So I thought actually that was brilliant, because we can link that with the 6 times table being double the 3 times table. So let's have a go. We're going to make these petals, we're going to make something like this. We're going to make these petals in 2 sets of 3. So we're going to start with this rather special triangle. It's got 3 lengths that are exactly the same and 3 angles that are exactly the same. It's got a fancy name, you don't need to know that, but it's called an equilateral triangle. And you can actually create one of those by paper folding. So I'm starting here with half an A4 piece of paper, and I'm going to fold it over lengthways and create a crease down the centre. So if I open it up, we've got half an A4 sheet, and that's got a fold down the middle. Right, then we take this point, or one of these points here, and we need to match that up with the centre line, the centre fold, but at the same time we need to create a point at this lower corner here. So you need to adjust it a bit and then create a fold. If it's not exact, it doesn't matter. And then we can use this line here, we can fold against that line to create our equilateral triangle. I thought that's pretty magic. So you can have a go to start with making lots of equilateral triangles. Right, but I'm going to use this one to create 3 petals. So if we cut the triangle out, cut that triangle out, you can use this as a template to cut several out at once if you want to. Right, then we've got our triangle. We can just mark the centre, it doesn't have to be exact, I'm thinking that's about the centre. And then I'm going to draw out a bit in the centre circle round my mark. And that I'm not going to cut that bit, I'm trying and reserve that bit. And then I'm looking for some points, so I'm looking for a point about equidistant from that centre in the circle here and halfway up there. So I've divided my circle into thirds now, wow. And I'm going to create some petals, so by joining that up to the point. Do that 3 times. There we go. Right, and then we can cut that out, and we've got something like this. And then when we've done that, we can do another one, and then we can join those 2 together. Now, there's a bit of discussion you can have here. You could join them like that, but looking at our daffodil, it's going to look more realistic if we line those up so that one set is on top of the other set in the middle. So then we can stick those together, and we've got our 6 petals, 2 lots of 3. Wow. Right, then we're going to have a go at creating this trumpet bit with another piece of paper and a curly edge, so we can create a curvy line along one edge. And you can test that, have a talk about how far round, how far along you need to do your curvy edge, so you can create a trumpet the size you want it. So I'm looking at something like this that we can then, I'm doing it a little bit longer than I want it, so I've got an overlap to stick. And I can cut that off, and I'm going to stick it together in a minute, but I want to create something to help me stick it on to the petals. So one way of doing that is to fold this over. And then it's a bit tricky to fold that into a circle, but you can do something a bit magic. You can do some dragon's teeth in here. So if we clip that to the line, cut out some more triangles all the way along till it looks like this, it'll actually fold much more easily into a trumpet shape. And you've got these dragon's teeth triangles to stick it down with. So stick that together, and I'm just using a double loop to stick it onto the centre. Oh, there's another bit of maths. Stick it onto the centre. Right, then I've got a cane like this. You can start it off with a toothpick, or you can just use rolling. So if you do have a cane, this is from an orchid that's died. You can start that off by rolling the paper around the stick. And this actually creates quite a strong stem if you can roll it all the way through. And when you get to the end, you just want one piece of sticky tape on there, and we can take the stick out and stick that to the back of our daffodil. Stick it to the back of the petals. Right, so now I've actually made a whole set. You could make a few, or you could use some real daffodils in amongst your paper ones too. And we can start talking about these, how many petals there are altogether. So we can either think about this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or we could think about it as we've got 3 here and another 3 and 3, giving us 6. And if we've got several daffodils, we can talk about that being 3 lots of 6, or we can talk about it being 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, or we can talk about it being 2 lots of 3, that's 4 lots of 3, and another 6, so there's 6 lots of 3 altogether there, giving you the same answer. So it's really good to have something real to make those connections. So what we have here is we can use this as for the 6 times table, and the 6 times table we can talk about that being double the 3 times table. So if your child has learnt the 3 times table, and most kids are really good at doubling, they can use those facts so that they can actually also know the 6 times table, which is really helpful. There is a game you can play using this spinner, which you can download and make from the website. The instructions are there how to use this, and with your paper daffodils or your real daffodils, to practice the 6 times table. Have fun!